Year 3, it's Friday and you're here with Mrs. Pierce for the last session on equivalent fractions this week. Okay, I'd like you to have some slips of paper again, so maybe you can take an A4 piece of paper and cut it into lots of slips the same size. Okay, hopefully you've got those ready. Let's have a look at the in focus. It says fold the paper strips to show halves, quarters and eighths. Now, if you really want to take up the challenge, you could also try and show sixths. Okay. Oh, don't forget to label them, please, because we want to know which one's which. So pause the video now while you do that. Well done. Let's have a little look at the Let's Learn. It's slightly different today. There's lots going on. So Lulu says we can show fractions on a number line. So that's the idea we're getting our heads around today. Here's a representation of our piece of paper or a bar model, and it's showing the number 1. We start our number line with 0 and we end it with 1. When we've got our bar or our piece of paper that's split into halves, we start with 0, we place half in the middle, and we end with 2 halves, or 1. Here we've got quarters. We start with 0, then we have 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and finally 4 quarters, or 1. And the same with eighths. Sam's asking, what are the equivalent fractions of 1 quarter? Well, the reason why we put these slips of paper together, or we put it on number lines, is that we can cast our eye down and we can see 1 quarter is equivalent to 2 eighths. Can you see they're the same amount? Okay, there's more parts, but it's the same amount of paper. Okay. Emma, is it Emma? Holly, sorry, Holly is asking us what 3 quarters is equivalent to. So we find our 3 quarters and we can see it's equivalent to 6 eighths. 1 half, 2 quarters and 4 eighths are the same amount. We can see here. Okay. We call them equivalent fractions, and that simply means they're equal. The second part, we can see here that we've got sixths on a number line. And it's Emma this time, is asking what 1 half is equal to in sixths. And I can look at 1 half and I can see that's equal to, that's right, 3 sixths. Ravi's looking at a third. Can we find it? And he wants to know what that's equal to when we count in sixths. Yeah, it's 2 sixths. So maybe you can name more pairs of equivalent fractions. And if you want to add that to your journal, you can do that now. I know, you're ready for the guided practice. Okay, the guided practice is a bit busy today. There is more on this page than on our actual worksheet. So let's look through. It says complete each of the following number lines. So we start at 0 and we end at 1. We've got a clue here that says the first increment or the first mark represents 1/8. So we know we're counting in eighths. And you might like to label each mark so that you can work out the missing fractions where the blue squares are. And the same for B. We start at 0, we end at 1, and oh, there's our clue, we're counting in ninths. If you want to do a number line with all of them, you can, but it's these blue ones that we're looking for. Here, for question 2, you're looking at showing these fractions on the number line here. And again in 3, you're using these number lines to help you find equivalent fractions. Remember to talk to somebody about your thinking. and pause the video while you do that. Okay, that was a lot of brain work. Let's have a little look at the worksheet. Okay, there are 5 things you need to do on this worksheet. We need to complete the following number lines here. Okay, so we've got a missing fraction here and here. You're allowed to label the other ones if it helps you. Okay, and for question 2, you're going to label these fractions onto this number line, please. Okay, pause the video while you do that. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the answers. Okay, well done. You've worked really well on these fractions, and I've seen lots of good learning emailed in. Make sure you email one of your sessions from this week so we can see what you're up to. I hope you're all well and you have a great weekend. Take care.